there is a major 𝗙𝗎𝗏 war is about to break out because the anti-Semites are, dude, this is crazy. You ready? The anti-Semites are fighting with Nick Fuentes, the other anti-Semites, right? The most extreme anti-Semites are now fighting with your run-of-the-mill 𝗙𝗎𝗏 anti-Semites. And this shit is funny, dude. Oh my God. These people are such losers, dude. He's being accused of being a Fed. I'm going to lament here for a minute, okay? It is hard for me to witness what is taking place in politics where I mean, I don't know if it's actually happening or if it's just propaganda online, but the fact that Spencer Pratt is being suggested as a legitimate mayoral candidate for Los Angeles is like so frightening, especially since another reality TV star is like sinking the goddamn world economy as we speak. And then they're just, people are like, oh, this Spencer Pratt guy really makes sense. It's like, dude, what the fuck is going on? And now you have Dan Bilzerian running in Florida. Like, it is all of a sudden the worst people on the planet can show up and just say terrible, rotten things, and they're being considered political candidates simply because they're not political candidates. Right? Right? You show up and you're like, F this, F everybody, screw this. Oh, here's an AI video. Yeah, I'm going to fucking take a dump and fucking throw it at my opponent. And people are like, yeah, I want to vote for that. That sounds really awesome. Like people that are basically, I'm going to just burn the whole system down, right? I'm going to come out and just be an awful human being online. And people are like, yeah, I want to vote for the most awful human being online. I want the meanest, emptiest, most goofy, just stupid, like, hey, let's fucking shotgun a beer in the backyard. And they're like, yeah, I want to vote for that. It is like idiocracy times 100. Do you believe white people are superior? Fuentes says no. And then Fuentes also says he isn't a Fed, and it appears Tyler Robinson murdered Charlie Kirk. But the response to this is Elon Musk is now in with these guys. He's a Fed, okay? And right, Elon Musk, of course, is holding court with all of these Hitler youth, okay? Now, Dan Bilzerian, though, hops in on this and says Nick's movement is a personality cult built around outrage, ego, and attention seeking. I want no part of it. Dude, that's Dan Bilzerian that just said outrage, ego, and attention seeking. That's the guy who like films himself on private jets with a bunch of hired models. Dude, all right. The Epstein cabal has pitted us against each other, stripped away our sovereignty, and buried the country in debt. We need to take our country back. Crazy how hard they've shadow banned my account since I announced I'm running for office. So there is this concerted Nick Fuentes is a Fed. Okay, now Fuentes responds to Dan Bilzerian.
Yeah, I love Dan, but it's a little bit irritating when people that they're not really thinking about what you're talking about come in and start saying stuff like that. Because it's like, I've explained this over and over and over again. He's like, well, the Democrats aren't going to build anything. It's like, I know that's not really the point. It's like, I don't know. It's very frustrating because you come up with a strategic idea, and then you get somebody that comes in and they're like, well, we all just need to run for office. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, man. Well, whatever. You got the answers. Let's all just do that then. Yeah, you got the answers. Let's all just run for Congress as an independent and tweet Hitler rules every day. Like, So it's like, I don't know, man. I get a little irritated with that.
Dude, he is having a bit of a meltdown here.
But whatever. We disagree. But I do like him and I respect him, and I just disagree. I don't love that. Oh, the Democrats aren't going to build anything. I fucking know. That. If you understand how it works, we're voting for them in the midterms so they get the House and use their oversight powers to slow down Trump, and this sabotages J.D. Vance, who's the biggest problem. People don't think that far ahead, though, so that's whatever.
So there's his play, right? Sabotage Trump and sabotage Vance.
And walk me through the plan.
So, in 2024, I didn't vote Republican. I recused myself. I just told people not to vote. Everybody thinks I voted for Kamala, but I didn't. I just told people to withhold their vote. But in 2026, what really did it for me was the war in Iran. I think that, for me, that was the red line. We were promised no new wars. We got a war in Iran. And I really believe that if you vote for Republicans after that, it's almost like you'll tolerate anything, because that's such an explicit betrayal and on a very serious matter.
Dude. How do these guys have a fucking, why do these guys have a fan base? You know what I'm saying? I'm watching this and I'm thinking, I get watching this ironically, you're making content, whatever, trying to destroy MAGA. But dude, they literally actually have sizable fan bases, loyal viewers, right? I mean, Crowder, there was a time where Daily Wire was going to pay him $50 million, and then he sabotaged that shit. Well, dude, these guys are terrible people. They're terrible people with terrible ideas and a terrible lack of charisma.
And I think that we should not have consolidation where it's 80% behind one candidate. I think it should be wide open. I also don't like either Rubio or Vance, because I think you get a neocon or a Palantir guy. And so to me, the only way to have an open field is if everyone associated with the administration is sufficiently weakened. So I'm actually rooting for Democrats to degrade and sabotage this administration and the people in it so that they're less politically viable. And maybe that clears the way for a dark horse or an outsider, someone from outside the MAGA, Mar-a-Lago, Trump administration to maybe clinch the nomination in 28. And to me, that's really the big picture.
Okay. So here's my primary problem, what you just said. And it's that keyword maybe. So my first question is the roster. You say, yeah, competitive primary. I agree. I hear who you don't want. The roster, the funds, the ground game. Maybe, right? Because you've tried this before. It's failed. The losses are real with the Democrats that we faced. I would argue, I think it'd be tough to argue against, worst 3 years in modern American history. The wins, the potential wins that you're describing are—
Dude, the worst 3 years in modern American history, dude. Dude, what the fuck happened to these guys during Biden that was so bad? The worst 3 years? Dude, modern American history, that's the crash of 2008, planes flying into buildings, war with thousands of people dying. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we could go back to, how do they equate Biden with the worst 3 years in modern American history? Dude, I mean, that is so melodramatic. What the fuck happened in those 3 years to these guys?
Are imaginary with no concretes. And I know that you talked about this with Dan Bilzerian, so I'm not trying to sandbag you here, but if I'm going, okay, there's a risk. It's a political play. Well, I won't be able to take part, along with many conservatives, Republicans, because I cannot vote Democrat. Doesn't mean I'll vote for Republicans all across the board. Can't vote Democrat. But the roster, the funds, the ground game, the things that you need to win elections in 2028 through the major risk of handing the country over to Democrats when we know that that means open borders, packing the courts, turning them into citizens, right? DEI back in the administration, H-1B skyrocketing again, all of that. Huge risk, concretes, so we see the payoff.
Dude, these guys, Crowder, dude, you know what? I gotta say, I think I would rather see these two make out. It would be more interesting watching these two guys kiss and like make out than watching them talk about politics, guys. Right? And I'm not even gay. I still think that would be more satisfying. Dude, the huge risks. Huge risks. Now, the Supreme Court is something for them to worry about. Absolutely. Like the Supreme Court is definitely, they should be worried about that. But I mean, dude, the Supreme Court is fucked right now. It is, dude.
What is just so remarkable to me, and like I said, I've been fine with him doing his thing. Obviously, he's a federal informant. It's ridiculous for people that don't understand that. It's ridiculous that people just keep following him despite the overwhelming evidence. I mean,
dude, isn't it funny though? She's like, it's obvious he's a federal informant. Meanwhile, she's like getting sued by the president of France, and like she is like all over Erica Kirk. Like all of these right-wing people, guys, you know what I'm saying? All of these right-wing people are so fucking mental. Like they're all liars. They're all frauds. They're all getting paid by some type of dark money to, you know what I mean? Like they're in group chats. They have dark money funding their messaging. They are working for religious groups or evangelical billionaires. Like they're all like pushing hidden agendas and meanwhile just making up straight lies about their opponents in their party and out of their party. Like they are all just trying to tear down everyone like but them. I mean, you've heard the phrase, right? No honor among thieves, right? No honor among thieves. That's what it reminds me of. How they are just like each of them is a jackal that will destroy the credibility of every other jackal at any chance they get, and creating like feeding into conspiracy theory, because the one unifying force behind all of them is that their fan base believes it's a cabal of some kind. Okay, the cabal is either the Jews or Mossad or the CIA or Obama or like some room of rich men wearing crystals in the forest, or it's, you know, some fucking gathering. Everything is like some type of eyes wide shut, you know, sexual animal fucking sacrificing. Yeah, the Freemasons, or what's the one in the forest in San Francisco that the village? No, it's not the village. What's it called? The Grove, right? The Grove. I mean, and it is so easy. Yes, Bohemian Grove. It is so easy. Okay, it is so easy to like, they can endlessly manufacture another invisible enemy, okay? And then they just create them against each other. You know, guys, I hate to say this. I feel like it starts with the Bible, okay? It starts with the Bible, guys. These people are educated and they are built on fairy tales with like one big Wizard of Oz type, you know, like all string pulling sort of creator. And then it makes it very easy for them to just extrapolate that same ecosystem onto everything in the real world. That's what happens. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.